I was asked about 3-4 years ago if I'd be willing to take someone who was in need of socializing into the group. And I said yes. For the first year, she kept her head down, she crocheted, and she said yes, and she said no. And now she's a fully conversant member of the group, and it's just lovely to see how she has come out, and it's just our group that's done it.
Welcome to Passport Podcasts, a series for seniors by seniors. Today, in part one of our two-part podcast, Anne Logie and Tim McClellan, the coordinators of the Knitting and Crafts group at James Bay New Horizons, take us on a tour of their group.
It's a group of about 25 people. It's a drop-in program, so every Tuesday afternoon people can come and go as they like. There's no registration, there's no fees. The nice thing about the Handicraft group, it gives us a chance to get together with the same minded people that we're all either as a pastime or their sole hobby, but we can get together and we have something in common. So we can help each other. We have a lot of experience, different areas, different years of experience, so we can help each other. So there's a whole social aspect that goes with being in the Handicraft group that you wouldn't get at home. We can talk like you wouldn't believe, and the volume in the room can just escalate. And then at another moment, it could be so quiet, you could hear a pin drop. And so it's really quite funny, the difference in that. But we quite often when everybody's talking, you rarely get any work done. I used to joke, and I still do, that if you're lucky to get a couple of rows knitted in that hour and a half, you're lucky.
I've made a kimono for Kim. I made one for my friend Linda. The vest, yeah. I made a Christmas vest with snowflakes all over it. Did a couple of those. Just things that I just thought, I wonder how that would work. And then out comes the graph paper and off I go. If I've been knitting something complicated, I need to rest my brain and eyes for a bit, I'll pick up needles and make socks. They're kind of mindless things for me to make. I kept my husband going in socks for 60 years, so they kind of come easy.
I also like knitting socks. I think that's become one of my favorites. One of the members when I first joined, she made socks, and that sort of inspired me to try making them. I'll say almost constantly I have socks on the go, either for the center or for friends that I make the socks for. And at the same time, I usually have a second project, and that one is almost always for the center. And it's more, I'll say, novelty item, but it could be just something like a pot holder, a crocheted basket, whatever the case may be. Just alternating, but I think, yeah, for me too, socks, I really enjoy them, and they're so easy to make once you know how to do it. People may think, you knit socks, it's so complicated, it's so fine yarn and small needles, but once you've learned how to do it and you're experienced at it, you just whip them off in no time flat.
And like I say, for me, it's mindless. When I want to relax my head, I just pick up 4 needles and get going on them. And I'm sitting knitting away and so I need to turn the heel, I'm there, And I find that very relaxing.
It's hard to sit at home, either watching TV or just listening to the radio. It's hard to sit there and not be doing something. Even if you've just finished a project, you just find, I finished those socks, I can put them away or give them away, whatever the case. You may be sitting there for an hour or so, and all of a sudden you're going to feel the itch to want to make something else. You just have to.
I don't even get that far. I am not very disciplined. I have something started so that when I'm finished with this, I have somewhere to go. So I've usually got 2 or 3 things on the go.
I'll do dishcloths, hand towels, pot holders, trivets, hot pads.
Your Christmas trees.
The Christmas trees.
Gnomes, pumpkins.
Pumpkins. The basket, the crochet basket. I've made Afghans, blankets.
Yeah, I've made baby blankets.
Towels, I've made some beautiful, well, I hate to say,
yeah,
I've made
they
some
are.
very nice shawls.
We made beautiful shawls.
We every once in a while we'll get some yarn donated that it's not just, the stuff that you would get at a normal department store, acrylic. It's very fine wool, merino, things like that. And so you don't want to be wasting that making a pot holder. You want to make something nice out of it. So I will often take that finer yarn and I'll make a shawl out of it, because shawls especially, and cowls, they just tend to work well with that kind of yarn. And it's just very fancy, and that they sell. People like, it's somewhat dressy. You can have a heavier yarn and have a heavier shawl, but the lighter ones, people like. And if it's a nice yarn with color in it, it just makes it that much more attractive.
When I first came to Canada, I was invited to a baby shower, and I didn't know what that was, because we don't have them in Scotland. So I asked what it was, and they said it was, you brought a gift for the baby. So I went out and bought something and handed it in. Well, the ladies were used to seeing me in my lunch hour knitting. And she ripped the package off and she said, "Oh, it's bought. Oh, it's lovely." And afterwards I said, "Will you tell me the truth? Would you have preferred a knitted, handmade thing?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Well, I thought maybe that was cheap, because, So that's why I went and bought something. So after that, there was never any time. This one's from Anne. Oh, and they were all anxious to see what it was, because I made something different each time. And that gave me pleasure too. I was giving something back. What they call, yarn, I'll call it now, is so much percentage acrylic, so much percentage wool, or all acrylic. And a lot of it is donated. Like if someone passes away, their stash gets passed to us, or somebody will hand in I was just handing a couple of balls of wool, or I have a stash at home and I'll use up bits and pieces from my own stash. And I'm sure the other knitters do too, because you're not a knitter if you don't have a stash.
A lot of the yarn that we do get in, if there is any real amount of wool in it, we usually don't use it, because either we as the crafters or people as the buyers are allergic to it, or especially baby clothes. It can be very hard on a baby. But so we usually tend not to use wool in any of our products. What we would do is, like in a pair of socks or in a shawl where it's merino wool, a different versus regular wool. But in a pair of socks, you know that you're going to be getting wool, so you know what you're buying. But most of our stuff is our items are acrylic, simply because of that allergy issue. So what we will do at times is we'll actually just have it available either for the crafters to take home and do with as they like, or we'll use it as well to raise money. We'll have a little bin, and people can leave a donation if they want to take some of that wool yarn with them. A lot of it does get donated either, as Anne said, if someone passes away, or if they've moved from a care home, or moved from an apartment or a condo into a care home. They don't have the space to store it, so the families or that person will donate it to us. That's one place. Another one is members themselves, members of the group. They want to make a scarf, they want to do this. They'll actually buy the yarn to make that item and then donate it. So we're not even paying for their yarn, they're donating it as well. So we get yarn from the members. We also, the Beehive wool shop, they have a website, and on that website they have a community listings page, and on it we're listed, New Horizons is listed as one of the groups that if people want to donate yarn, they can bring it to us. I know one of the clerks at Beehive, and she will even contact me and say, "Hey Tim, we have some yarn for you, would you like to come and get it?" So I'll pick that up. Another one is I've got a fairly significant presence on a community website called Ravelry, and on it I describe what New Horizons is and what we do as a group. And a lot of my things that I make, I put them on Ravelry and I show that I'm making them for New Horizons. So people have this notion in their head of what I'm doing with all these things. And people have actually donated yarn to us from Maine, USA, from Up Island, and from Eastern Canada. They've actually shipped yarn to us just because they saw me on Ravelry and the work that we're doing as a group. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yes, most of it, almost all of it is donated in one way or another. But it can be a challenge to use up what we have. A lot of the yarn that we have, it's not like going into a yarn shop and you can see full skeins of yarn. Usually what we receive are half-used skeins of yarn. So it's not enough to make a full baby sweater. You need, put things together. A couple of our crafters, and I'm one of them, but a couple of others, we will actually take that leftover yarn, those small amounts, and make something large that has multiple colors, so that we don't have enough blue to make a full sweater, but we've got these other colors and these, that you could put it together and still make a nice sweater. It's just not all blue. And so that's one way to be able to use up those, the little bit. When we knit socks, if you go and buy a skein of yarn, you can knit a pair of socks easily within one skein, and you're left with about a third of what was there. So you have all these thirds left over. And quite a while ago, I found out that people love striped socks in random yarn. And so I've now found an outlet for all of my leftover sock yarn. So after I've knitted a couple of full proper socks, we'll call it, one color sock, I'll have enough yarn, not from just them, but from all the socks I did before that. I now have like a little chocolate box full of different yarn, and I'll do exactly the same thing. Pick another color, do 12 rounds with one color, then pick another color, and the two socks are totally different. They don't even look the same, but they were knit together at the same time, and they get eaten up. People love them.
Ageism tends to say you're not useful anymore, and it's not a nice feeling. So this makes me feel I'm still useful, I can still produce stuff, and I'm doing good for the centre, which has been good to me, so it's a win-win for me.
The nice thing is that when we make things, you need to be able to use it. So either you're going to be making sweaters and socks for yourself for the rest of your life, or you're going to find someone else to make them for. The opportunity for us to be able to make things and then donate them to the center allows us to enjoy our pastime, our hobby, and at the same time relieve ourselves of what we've made and support the center all at the same time. If at our sales we remember who made something and we can congratulate them on what they've done, and hey, somebody bought your item, and then later when we report the total sales, the group, we applaud each other for the work that we all put in to raise all $900 at our last sale. So that boosts our morale as well, if you like.
And even the not so proficient people still want their work to go into the sale, so we price it accordingly and we put it in the sale, and very often it sells, and you can say to them, your blanket sold, your cat blanket sold, it did, so that's really nice too.
We hope you've enjoyed this glimpse into the joy, purpose, and connection that the craft group brings to seniors at James Bay New Horizons. Join us for part 2 when Tim and Ann talk about the upcoming craft fair and sale on March 27th and 28th. Passport for Joy and Connection is a program of the Creative Community Wellness Society and James Bay New Horizons with the financial support of the Miroir Foundation. Created by Seniors for Seniors, Passport is a program of active companionship for seniors to share adventures, knowledge, and joy. Please visit us at passporttojoyandconnection.substack.com for more information, articles, and senior-related activities.